Hi everyone, in today's video we're going to be talking about how to quit gaming with practical tips and possible ideas for you to implement if you're in that scenario where you want to quit gaming. So first let me tell you a bit about myself. I was a former Fortnite competitive player who wanted to go pro in the esports scene, right? So I actually played the game a lot. I have over 4,000 hours on Fortnite. And if you count everything else, it's probably close to like 10,000 if you count like all the time I spent watching Twitch streams, YouTubers, hanging out in Fortnite, like Scrim Discord servers for anyone that knows what that is. Um, Back then, like if you had scrims, it was basically like you would play a game with all players who use the same matchmaking key. So this would be like very high quality practice, right? So I was really like deep into the competitive scene. I really wanted to become a pro Fortnite player, get earnings and all that, right? But obviously, for anyone who's played competitive Fortnite, you know it's a grueling grind. You have to play at least like 7 or 8 hours a day, maybe a bit less, but you have to be on daily. You have to like grind the whole day, and you have to do aim training on Kovacs or some in-game aim trainer. I had Aim Lab. You had to practice in creative mode with all your free builds. I know most of you guys are like Fortnite fans probably if you were around from my channel from the very beginning or like towards it. So if you're seeing this video, this might be relevant to you. If it's not, I'll keep explaining a bit more. So the other thing that we had to go through in Fortnite, you had to play arena to practice your fighting skills, obviously scrims for that, like competitive end games, and in addition to that, we also had to do a lot of like just VOD reviewing, right? Going into the replays, analyzing your fights, finding what went right, what went wrong. So that was kind of like the whole experience, and this would usually take up a lot of time in the day. And a little bit more about myself, I actually tried to control my gaming back in grade 8, right? So this was when I was like more addicted to the game. I was actually so addicted that I realized I had to do something about it. So during this time, I actually changed from playing every single. This was back then. I used to play every single day for like 3 or 4 hours, right? I made the decision to only play on the weekends. So basically, on Monday to Friday, not including Friday night, I would not play gaming, or I would not game. And then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I would game like probably adds up to 20 to 40 hours a week. Like I would play like pretty much the entire day. And this was really not sustainable because I wanted to go pro in Fortnite, and obviously playing on the weekends was not enough. So when it got to holiday breaks, and this was the summer of, I believe it was probably 2022, it was like just when I was going from grade 11 or grade 10 to grade 11, that summer break, I was really grinding. Like I thought maybe I had just played Heal Off. Like if anyone doesn't know what that is, it's basically in Fortnite, you can use heals inside Storm and then like basically out heal everyone. It's kind of like a cheese strat. It's usually looked down upon, but I wasn't really that good, but I wanted to get PR in the game, right? So I'd use that as a cheese strat and kind of cheese my way to victory. I qualified 2 times for FNCS with that. And I wanted to, since they removed it, I had to get good at the game. So I was really practicing like every single day, aim training, 45 minutes, right? And then going into creative, doing free building, and then playing scrims. I was also in like OA Manu, who's like a scrim hoster. He had vital scrims. I played a lot of those stacked masters with my friend, and we were really trying to go pro in the game. But it was about like 2 weeks in, and I was playing like maybe 16 hours a day. I'm not sure. I woke up at like around 8 o'clock, played until like 11. So if you do the math there, 8 to 8, that's 12. So 15 to 16 hours a day, right? And I ate lunch and stuff. But then even if I wasn't playing, I would still be on the game, still be watching. So that's basically equivalent. And yeah, it got too much. So now let's actually go over how I was able to quit gaming itself. So it was actually very irrational, right? So what happened was that like in Fortnite, there's something called Champs Division, which is basically, or Champs League or whatever you want to call it, like Division 8. And basically at that time you needed 7,500 points to reach it, but they had just added a new feature where you could get demoted, right? So if you dropped under 7,500, you would go back to Division 7. So at that time I got there, and then I wanted to help my friend also get to Champs. He was like maybe a bit lower, I think. He was probably like 7,200 or something. I dropped under, right? And I got kind of frustrated, so I uninstalled the game. And that was where it started, right? And then for the next few weeks, I actually kept the game uninstalled. I realized that in order to really get rid of Fortnite, I probably had to delete the Epic Games launcher itself too, because it's pretty easy to install the game from that point, right? So let's kind of go over how we did that. So I went on the Epic Games, like into my PC and uninstalled the Epic Games launcher. And then I have to be really thankful for Game Quitters. They helped me out a lot with like potential strategies, right? because most people think like when they're trying to control their gaming addiction, the first thing they always go to is moderation. And if you know anything about moderation, I mean, I was doing it for 2 years. I was still super addicted. Playing on the weekends is already considered like a pretty strict form of moderation for most people because it really avoids like the daily like habits of just playing games every day, right? So I thought I was in the right direction, but turns out like if you just have like that little bit of gaming left in you, you're always gonna come back for more. There's always new opportunities for success in the esports world, right? Like in that case, I was playing FNCS and there was like the Fortnite Championship Series, which is basically like an equivalent to like, think of like, if you're sports, maybe think of like the World Series, right? It's basically like the biggest tournament there is. Well, actually, the World Series probably be like the Fortnite World Cup, but that's besides the point. And if you won, you could get $100,000 each. So like the idea of money, it was really enticing to me. And I thought I had what it took. I mean, I was like maybe top 15,000 in the North American East region. Now I know they've obviously changed the regions and stuff, but I mean, I wasn't like a tier 1 pro by any means, but yeah, so that approach, after that, I uninstalled the Epic Games Launcher, and then after that, I had to get rid of everything else related to games. So I actually got like a blocker for Twitch. Like I searched up like website blockers, I blocked Twitch, I left all Fortnite Discord servers. I was actually in like a pretty good, like a bunch of Fortnite Discord servers where I would like talk to like fellow Fortnite competitive players and such. And I also like unsubscribed from all Fortnite YouTubers. So here's really the big thing, right? When you're trying to quit gaming, you need to get rid of gaming content. Like think of the r/Fortnite competitive subreddit, that's what I was in. Like Fortnite Discord servers, YouTube channels, Twitch streamers. You have to get rid of all that. And right now I'm still working on that a bit myself because it's hard to completely cut out like the watching of gaming because sometimes it's just like you get like urges and stuff, right? When you suddenly think of, oh, like the good old times. So I'm still working on that a bit myself. Like I still watch a little bit of Twitch, but it's something I am trying to work on, of course. And basically, once I took that, it was like a not really smooth sailing from there. Around the first week or so, you really get like withdrawal symptoms. I'm not even lying, by the way. You get actual withdrawal symptoms from quitting video games. And that seems a bit absurd to you, right? Because with video games, there's no substance. It's not like drugs or alcohol where like there's physical symptoms, but it occurs with gaming too. So here's like what I experienced, right? Within like the first maybe week or two. So one thing that I really experienced a lot was boredom, right? Because if you think about it, I used to have hobbies. I really like cubing. I did a bit of taekwondo, soccer, and like swimming and like piano, like a lot of things, right? And about the time when it was like the pandemic came around, that's kind of when my hobbies disappeared. But also like just more time for gaming, right? You're at home, you have endless time to do like pretty much whatever you want. So starting from 2020 all the way till like the end of grade 10, so that's about 2 years. I would play a lot of video games. I didn't really talk to anyone at all. I didn't really have friends. I had Fortnite friends, right? But after a while, it kind of got a bit better. It wasn't like amazing, obviously, but after the first week or two, I managed to like basically not watch any Twitch. I didn't leave like the Fortnite Discord servers right away because I still had that sense that like, you know, these are still like kind of my friends, right? And it's not saying that like Fortnite friends can't be real friends or anything, but when you're trying to quit gaming, you kind of have to cut them off unless if you can bring them along with your journey or they're like compassionate and understanding and you could maybe like really help them out if they're in like similar situation. Like because when I played Fortnite, a lot of my friends, they were like my Fortnite friends, I guess you could say. They like really enjoyed the game too. Like I think they were in the same boat as me, and a lot of them probably struggled with a video game addiction as well. So if you can help them, it's best to help them. If not, you'll have to like distance yourself. Obviously, don't like completely cut them off if you don't want to. But for me, like I think I still have contact with some of them, but I just had to distance myself from like Fortnite itself, kind of, right? That was the biggest thing. So step number 1, distance yourself from all Fortnite like content consumption. So think of that as your Twitch, YouTube, Reddit, Discord, all the Fortnite communities. You can't be in them anymore because let's put you into a hypothetical scenario. So if you were in a Fortnite Discord server, when you quit Fortnite, what will your Fortnite friends think of you? I mean, they might not think less of you. That depends on the person, obviously, but like you're not really engaging in the same activities, so that makes it like a bit difficult to have like common things to talk about, right? Because usually with your friends, you always have to have something common to talk about, and with gaming, it's obviously gaming, right? And that was the first biggest thing. The second thing is you have to know how to handle your urges, right? Because you'll have a lot of urges and cravings to play when you're quitting gaming. So throughout the first week, I really wanted to play the game. I remember after quitting, I edited a Fortnite montage right after I quit. And I was still talking to a lot of Fortnite people. I was watching a lot of Twitch. I tried to get rid of that as much as possible. But once you get rid of those, you need to start instantly replacing it with just other things to do. They can be hobbies, they can be work. It doesn't really matter in the and like it doesn't have to be completely hobbies. Like for example, at that time I was like learning a lot of like math for like my upcoming school year. So that was like kind of math and physics, right? So I was preparing myself for the upcoming school year. I got back into the Rubik's Cube, so that's something like a hobby that I had before gaming, and it kind of like overlapped with gaming, but gaming took over because gaming is a lot more fun, relatively speaking, due to the high dopamine you get from gaming, obviously. So I did cubing. I also tried to like, I think I made like a YouTube video or so, but like it was mainly cubing and then just like studying and stuff, right? And that's the big thing, right? I also like, I did a lot of like physical exercise because before I'd taken a personal fitness class, which was actually a very like eye-opening experience because, I mean, I'll tell you a bit of a story for myself, right? Back then in grade 10, I could not do a single push-up. So, I mean, like I could literally do 0 push-ups. I could do maybe one with like very bad form, but like even going to 90 degrees, like it was impossible for me. And after taking the personal fitness class, I kind of like gained strength and like muscles, I guess you could say. So I got up to like, by the summer break, I think I maxed out at like 26 push-ups or something like that. I mean, right now I can probably do around 20. I've gotten a bit worse because, you know, I have to study now. But yeah, I got to like 26 push-ups, and every single day I would do like a few push-ups trying to just go to my like, I guess you could call it, I think it's like 1 rep max. I think that's the like technical term for that. So I would basically like push myself until I couldn't go anymore, and then I would do that every single day or like whenever I could. And that was kind of the summer break. It was honestly very like, it was very irritating at that time because if you've ever tried to like quit something that you truly enjoy, or I guess in my case, I thought I'd enjoyed it, but let's look at another thing that I want to discuss, right? So for this, let's discuss about how one thing you have to really realize when you're when you're like quitting video games is that video games aren't a hobby. If you're in the situation where you're contemplating quitting, most likely you're not in the scenario where video games is just something that you do for fun. And how you can recognize this, one of the key symptoms of a video game addiction is that you're doing things to get more video game time, right? So let's take a deep dive into this. So basically, when I played video games, I really liked them, and I would do everything in my power to get more video game time. So let's think of it like this, right? It was the summer break, and I think I wanted to play like a Fortnite tournament or something, and I was going on a walk with my parents, but I just told them that I wanted to go home so I could play the Fortnite tournament. And then if there was homework, I'd finish that as fast as possible to watch Fortnite, to play Fortnite. And everything else, I wouldn't even do chores because it would take up my Fortnite time. So if you're having behavior like that, it's really good to think about like, is this a video game addiction? Is there something I can do in this scenario to improve my situation? And one thing I actually really recommend, this comes from game quitters, I've learned a lot from them, but it's the 90-day detox. That's actually what I did immediately, because a lot of the times you can moderate, but you have to first get like all the dopamine, like it's not really that scientific, but basically like dopamine's a neurotransmitter or something like that. And basically like you could, obviously you need dopamine to survive, but like an excess of it, like especially around like instant gratification activities like video games and, you know, social media and stuff, these give you like really high amounts of dopamine, and it also ruins your attention span too. Like, let's not discuss like the downsides of gaming. If you're watching this video and you want to quit gaming, you probably already know what they are. So yeah, the one thing you have to realize is that video games is no longer a hobby. It's something that's taking control of my life, so I should do something to fix that. And just wanting to do something is not enough. You really have to take action, right? So the biggest thing really is like out of sight, out of mind, I think, in my opinion, because, well, you can't really have that like in your mind while you're trying to quit, right? But also another thing, you really have to replace it with replacement activities. For me, it was studying and it was cubing, right? Those are the main ones. And also just like even talking with friends, and that was like pretty helpful as well, because like honestly, the biggest thing with gaming, you have to realize one thing, right? Gaming is trying to fulfill your needs as a person. So If you think of your needs as like social interaction, a sense of achievement, these kinds of things, it does it all for you. Sense of achievement, right? When you're addicted to gaming, or like me, I wanted a sense of achievement of success, right? Because if I was a competitive Fortnite player, that would mean like, it's kind of like social validation in the Fortnite community in a sense. Like, oh, I'm very good at Fortnite. That means like I've worked my way up the social hierarchy in a sense. That's like the feeling that you want to get. But you have to realize that feeling, it's not real, because success in a video game is not purposeful to your actual life. Not saying that like video games are totally useless or anything, but like you have to realize that this is something that's happening in the virtual world and not the real world. So that's like one of the key realizations that you have to have. So for the social interaction aspect of it, well, your Fortnite friends can sometimes be your real friends, but you really need to consider this on a case-by-case basis. It's not really something I can tell you like definitely, right? So here's how you would look at it. So first thing you can do, you can tell your like friends, it doesn't have to be Fortnite friends, but just like your gaming friends, that you tell them you're gonna quit gaming and see how they respond, right? If they're really like adamant against that, like you would know that maybe they're just in it with you so that they have someone to play with, not really because they care about you as a person. But if they're willing to follow along, it's okay to keep a few friends here and there, because that's like what I've done. But that's another big thing. And also, you have to realize that video games, it's not, the biggest realization is that video games are not real. They have not really that much correlation to real life. So even though people have many like reasons, right? For example, video games can help improve your hand-eye coordination. Video games allow me to learn English because I'm not a native English speaker and I'm communicating with my friends online. That helps me learn the language. It's stuff like that, right? And I'm not going to deny that video games have absolutely no benefit. One thing that they have benefited me was realizing how you could treat life like a video game, kind of. But instead of playing like Fortnite, you play the game of life. That's like maybe the biggest takeaway from gaming. But you have to realize that most of the times if you're addicted, like hand-eye coordination, like you're not going to use that in real life if you're playing video games, right? If you're addicted, you're not really in a position to say that hand-eye coordination would be beneficial, because sometimes, think of it like this. Everything has its own pros and cons, but when the cons greatly outweigh the pros, the decision is clear. But it's really up for you to decide that. And one other thing that I want to add on to this is that when you're playing video games, you have to realize that video games are not really that important. They don't really give you any tangible skills to the real world. Your social interactions will be greatly impacted. Even though you are talking with your Fortnite friends, most of the times you're talking about things that are going on in the game. Like, oh, I just got another, he's tagged 50 white, 50 shield. He's not. Let's go push him. But these aren't really like deep interactions that you would want to have with the person. You want to really get to know them on a deeper level, right? It's not even small talk. It's literally just like in-game like discussion of events which are occurring. So, and that's the main thing. So to summarize, what you want to do, first thing, out of mind, out of sight. You want to get rid of all gaming triggers and anything that you can that would potentially cause a gaming relapse or get rid of gaming in the first place. Second step, you need to find hobbies or activities to replace your current games. And this has to be done in addition to the 90-day detox, because you need to first like basically make your brain so that it's not completely overstimulated. You have some time to recover. You don't find hobbies first and then quit gaming. Quit gaming first and then replace it with hobbies. That's what I found to work for me. It's not 100% foolproof, obviously. And the third thing is that you have to come to the realization that gaming is not real. There's no real life tangible benefits and outweigh the pros and cons. There are benefits, of course, to gaming. I'm not denying that, but I'm just saying that if you're addicted, you're not really like, shouldn't really be commenting about the benefits when you know how it's impacted you as a person, right? And one thing I do want to point out is that I'm not saying video games are bad by any sense. This is just really to help people who are struggling with video game addiction. And honestly, the biggest realization with quitting video games is that you really have to do it yourself. So don't really take blame, like don't blame your parents of how, like, oh, why didn't you control me before and now I'm addicted, right? It's really only your responsibility, and it's up to you to change that. No one can do it for you. People can give you suggestions. They can give you ideas and tips, but they can't do it for you. It's still up to you. And also realize that a lot of the time, you really need to have a system in place to ensure that you don't quit gaming. For example, like website blockers and stuff. Those are just small things, right? but you can't completely rely on willpower, just like forcing yourself to not do it. You really need to find something else that you're just as passionate about compared to gaming. For me, it was like cubing and studying, right? These were some things that, like, obviously people usually see studying as work, but I actually don't really see it like that. I think of it as learning, right? And learning is something that's like truly beautiful in my opinion. So those are a few things you want to keep in mind when you're trying to quit gaming. And just realize that you're not alone. There's a lot of people that are on this journey, just like myself, for example, and we're all in it together. So if there's any questions or concerns, I will respond to all comments. So just leave them down in the comments below and ask for any help that you may need. And if you did enjoy the video, consider liking, and obviously consider subscribing to the channel as well, because that does help me greatly. So have a good day, and bye everyone.
You should know that I won't